Hello, welcome to the panel on Bay Area social opportunities for adults on the autism spectrum. I am Cristina Moretto with the Autism Society of San Francisco, and co-moderating with me today is Trudy Grable from Parents Helping Parents.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm trying to get... So I just wanted to let everyone know that we do archive our webinars and that you can look in the Autism Society website for the previous webinars that have been archived for any of those who missed them. And just a couple of housekeeping items. If you have any questions, please type them into the question bar in the control panel at the right of your screen. And if you are calling in, please feel free to email questions to Trudy at PHP. If you cannot see the presentation screen, please look under your browser. And please keep yourself on mute. There is a little microphone to the left-hand side of the control panel. And if you click on it when it's red, you are muted. And this webinar is being recorded, and it will be running for about an hour and a half. So today's presenters will be Greg Yates of Ascend, San Francisco, Katie Ankenman, Star Center, UCSF, Lance Scott from the ARC, San Francisco, Meg Fields of Aspen Network, Trang Nguyen of GatePath, Jan Johnston-Tyler of Evo Libre, Liz Sandoval-Kane of Shire House, and Trudy Grable with the BFF Project. So I think at this point we can start with Greg Yates. I am going to give you my screen and let me know if you can see it.
Okay, is everything set?
Yeah,
can you see my screen?
See it.
Okay, well, welcome. I'm Greg Yates. I am a co-founder and co-chair of Ascend. I'm on the autism spectrum. Ascend is an autism nonprofit based in San Francisco. It is the Autism Asperger Spectrum Coalition for Education, Networking, and Development. We have been around, since 1999, when we were born out of a conference at San Francisco State, which on adult autism, and it invited members of the Autastics, shown here, who are all adults on the autism spectrum. And there was so much energy at that conference that the participants, parents, professionals, and autistics got together afterwards and said, we've got to go somewhere with this, and we created Ascend. So Ascend then has this unusual structure of being composed of three parts. It is spectrum adults, professionals, and family and friends. What we do is implicit in our name. We call it Ascend's ANDS for the END in our name, Education, Networking, and Development. We are all, and I'll say a little more about that, we're all volunteer. And the way we work, so we don't really spend a lot of time with budget and so on like that. We run a very low cost operation. What happens is that special projects crystallize around individual inspirations. So if someone has a passion to do something, and you'll see some more about that, that they spearhead it, and Ascend is sort of a collection of these individual projects like that we all collaborate on. We have a website, ascend.org, and you see it here in the sample page. So there'll be information about upcoming meetings, typically on the left part, and then on the right there's a whole bunch of buttons you can click. Our newsletter, subscribe to the newsletter, information about our job club, our lively LinkedIn community, our Ascend television program, which we'll talk about, Facebook, and others. All right, so this is about social activities and social behavior for people on the spectrum. And my presentation may be a little different from some of the others you'll hear today, in that essentially what we have to offer at Ascend is a place for adults to come and socialize. Most of the people who come to our meetings are adults. We do, of course, have parents, family members, and professionals also attending, but the bulk of people who attend are on the spectrum. And there's usually a presentation, and then there are breaks. And during the breaks and also during the presentations are interactive, autistic people have a chance to interact. And it takes all kinds of forms. Here you can see example meetings, just to give you some idea what the general look of it is. Jan, who's here today, will recognize the one in the middle here. One time we got locked out of our regular meeting and had to meet in the park. Jan was great with that. Anyway, so we have many different kinds of subjects that we cover in meetings. So if you are on the autism spectrum, have a look here. Basically, I'm inviting people who may be attending this webinar or family members to pass this along. These are the kinds of things we talk about at our meetings. Romance on the spectrum, politics of autism, affordable housing, neurodiversity, lots of stuff about employment, autism in the arts, how can neurotypicals help, we run a book club, and so on. Live music by spectrum artists, we have a number of musically talented people, we've done programs around that. Small businesses run by people on the spectrum, nutrition, and so on. Many different kinds of topics. We have social events. Now these are in addition to our regular meetings. So we have picnics and parties and hikes. And we do those a few times a year. And they're always very largely attended. And everybody has a good time. I don't know what to say except that people love it. This is really kind of a center for a lot of the people on the spectrum. We also run conferences. This is a chance for people to participate in many different ways, on panels, helping with organizing, helping run the, checking people in at the door, and things of that sort. On the left here, that's Ari Neyman speaking from ASAN. This is Alex Plank in the lower left, and so on. Those are the typically fill up a 200-room conference hall. We have a very active job club for people on the spectrum who are interested in employment. And again, this is very social and you work one-on-one with each other with a job counselor. There are presentations there. All of this is just basically many opportunities for people to relate to each other socially and to learn the skills there. We have a cable television program which also runs on YouTube. And you can see that we have many different programs. Again, the program is run by people on the spectrum. The team is almost all people on the spectrum. So I don't know what to say. It's just, my suggestion to people on the autism spectrum is, and I hope that's implicit in what I'm saying here, is get yourself around other people on the spectrum. And engage in whatever's going on. Ascend, if you happen to live near the San Francisco Bay Area, is a wonderful opportunity to do that. And you can learn some new skills. And we have lots. This is just a sampling of the many projects and collaborations that we have here. We speak on panels. Again, if you're on the spectrum, there's lots of opportunities to speak on panels. We speak in schools, present at resource fairs. Some of our members love to just man a table at a resource fair. We collaborated with the San Francisco Library about autism-related matters. One of our members was a chair of the San Francisco Mayor's Disability Council. We collaborated with the District Attorney's Office. We helped produce a training video with the San Francisco Police Department. A couple of our members are authors of books. We saw one in the last slide when I went back to the Autism Job Club by one of our board members, which is about our job club. And here on this page showing our various collaborations, there's the one in the lower left-hand corner, which is a book by one of our Ascend members, a memoir. Here we've done collaborated with filmmakers. This is this group of students from San Francisco State because we've presented there a number of times. We have an autism meditation retreat, which is allied with Ascend, called AutSit, AUTSIT.net. We're about to have our yearly meditation retreat up in the mountains, and we have had an online meditation for people on the autism spectrum. Anyway, there's just all kinds of projects here, lots of opportunities. My main suggestion to people on the autism spectrum is get around other people, practice your social skills. If you're on the autism spectrum and you feel like you've made some progress on that front, please reach out to those who are a little less functioning, have a little more difficulty, try to help them along. So that's pretty much what I have to say about Ascend and social activity in Ascend. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. And for those of you who have any questions, we are going to have a Q&A session at the end. So save your questions and type them up. Next up is Katie Ankenman with the STAR Center at UCSF. Katie, I am going to make you the presenter. There you go. Katie, are you there?
I'm here. I was on mute. Great. Can you see me and hear me? Or at least see my screen?
Yes.
Well, wonderful. Well, good morning. Thank you for having me. And Greg, thank you so much for your talk on Ascend. You have so many great programs. It's always nice to see what you guys are up to. So I'm a clinical social worker at the UCSF STAR Center, and I'm happy to talk to you about our programs for adults seeking more social opportunities in the community. And one second here. There we go. So the mission here at the STAR Center is to lead the way to better understand, treat, and promote the well-being of individuals with autism. And we really do seek to be a clinical home for individuals with autism throughout their lifespan. So we see all ages going into adults and older adults as well as children. And we're in the process of expanding our programs for adults based on identified community needs. So the several programs for adults with autism that we have basically are seeking to enhance their social skills and expand social opportunities. Currently, all of our social programs for adults are group-based and accessible via health insurance or private pay. An initial intake appointment is required to determine eligibility for our services. So the first group that I wanted to talk about today that we have is actually called Transitioning Together, and it was developed at the University of Wisconsin-Madison as an education and support group for adolescents and young adults ages 14 to 21 with autism and their families. And really, Transitioning Together provides support and information to help families and young adults really navigate that transition to adulthood. So the parents and the young adults meet separately at the same time over 8 weeks, and obviously we basically group by age. So of course we'll have older teens and young adults together typically. The parent group focuses on education and problem solving, but our focus today of course is for young adults. And the young adult group, what I really wanted to emphasize is in this group, the focus is on socialization and identification of goals. So it really is based on a social group model. And the aim is to create a fun, relaxed atmosphere where young adults can really be themselves, engage socially with their peers, and also work towards their long-term goals. So in the group, social activities and games are woven through each session, and the topics covered in those sessions include, for the young adults, goal setting, social problem solving, conversation skills, coping strategies. There's some party planning for the graduation at the end, and there's a flex week that's built into the schedule so that young adults can actually bring forward a topic that they want to discuss, and of course, we'll do a session on that. So the next group I wanted to talk about is our PEERS group for young adults, 18 to 35 years old. And PEERS stands for the Program for the Education and Enrichment of Relational Skills. And it really focuses on the skills needed to make and keep friends, as well as develop romantic relationships and manage conflict, rejection, and other things that come up. And this program also utilizes parent assistance through real-world social coaching. And if parents aren't available, then it's totally fine to have another adult or community member or sibling or whoever else wants to participate. The parents and young adults meet separately over 14 weeks, and the material includes everything from starting and maintaining conversations to finding a source of friends, managing electronic forms of communication, organizing and having successful get-togethers, dating etiquette, managing disagreements, managing rejection or bullying even. So there's a wide range of topics that are discussed. And while this intervention is an evidence-based intervention that was specifically designed for individuals with autism, we also have individuals with other difficulties. So it's not exclusive to those on the spectrum. Really, it's a good fit for an individual who is having social difficulties and really wants to improve them and really wants to make new friends. So one major criteria to join the group is that the individual, really has to be motivated to join, and that's the key. Another group that we just started that we're really excited about is a women's group for women with autism. Right now we are piloting it and collecting data. We have 5 members currently between the ages of 22 and 39 in our current group. And we actually did a focus group to figure out, what do these young women really want to discuss, and what are the issues that are facing them. So it's a supportive, skill-based group, and the topics that are being discussed currently include everything from diagnosis and disclosure to friendships, employment, everything from getting a job, keeping a job, to any obstacles with coworkers, dating, intimacy and sex, health, etc. So already, the group, it's really cool to watch. It's been a springboard for some social connections within the group. And so, for example, the current members, I think, have already planned a get-together outside of the group because they're making connections in the group. So that's really cool to see. The other thing that we've been doing is community get-togethers for young adults. And this is specifically designed for individuals to attend after they've attended one of our groups. And really the goal is just to provide a space for them to maintain their social skills and have an opportunity to hang out with each other in informal community settings. The young adults take a leadership role in planning these get-togethers, so we rotate who gets to choose, where they might want to go to dinner or whatever. And lately it's really been dinners, and we do it monthly. STAR staff attend the get-togethers with the young adults to facilitate social interaction as needed. And there's no cost other than the young adults pay for their own food and drink, which is obviously a great way to promote planning and money management, et cetera. As far as just, since one of the things we were supposed to provide is just take-home observations or tips, this is really geared more towards parents and providers, but I think it's important to remember that young adults with autism, they want to do age-appropriate things. For example, they may want to go to a bar or a restaurant. They may need support. They may not. It depends, obviously, on the individual, but they really want to do what other young adults are doing. We've also found that many of our young adults really want to be included in activities in the general population. So they don't just want to go to events for those on the spectrum necessarily. I'm sure sometimes, and again, of course, this depends on the individual, but what we found is they really want to be included in the wider community. And of course, many just want the same things, that we all want, including to socialize, to have fun, to have relationships, and to date. And actually, in our peers young adult group, we've noticed that parents are often unaware that their young adults have an interest in dating. And young adults may not want to talk to their parents about this, which is actually an age-appropriate behavior. So we, of course, talk about it in group, and we encourage them to find another, friend or supportive adult to talk to about dating if they're not ready to talk to their parents about that. Last but not least, with social skills, I think it's really helpful to normalize the difficulties that everyone faces socially. That is, anyone can get stressed, anyone can make a mistake in a social situation, and it can be hard at times to socialize, whether someone is on the spectrum or not. So we found that normalizing these common challenges can really be helpful. And that is all I have for now. Here's our contact information, and happy to take questions at the end if anyone has any.
Thank you, Katie. Next up, we have Lance Scott with the ARC of San Francisco.
Hi, everybody.
Where's the
Good morning.
She's going to ask us to. There we go. Okay.
We're just pulling up our screen here. Great. So my name is Lance Scott. I'm the Director of Arts, Recreation, and Socialization. I've been with the ARC for over 20 years, and we are a lifelong learning center. We focus on continuing education, and we have a variety of departments. So we have a department that focuses on employment. We have a group that focuses on independent living. We have health and wellness. We have 2 art studios, one here and one in Daly City, and we have a very robust recreation program. The mission is to serve individuals with developmental disabilities by promoting self-determination, dignity, and quality of life. So we very much feel that just because you have a disability, that doesn't mean that your life shouldn't be as full and rich and meaningful as anybody else's. Friends Like Me is kind of an offshoot of the ARC, so it was the brainchild of one of our clients who, through us, got full-time employment, and he got a job, but after he met those goals, he was pretty miserable. He was going to bowling alleys, he was going to bars, and he just wasn't making connections. So came to us, and he was very much the inspiration for Friends Like Me. We started small, and we've been growing. We're a work in progress. And for the most part, for Alex and for other folks, it's a great place to come after work to decompress, to talk about your great day at work, to talk about your bad day at work, whatever that might be. So we were hearing a lot from our clients. You know, they'd go through their program day, and 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, their lives didn't stop. You know, and a lot of them were just going home and watching TV, and they wanted more opportunities. So at Friends Like Me, we have 2 game nights. We have so folks can come after work, so it's 5 to 8. We have another one on Tuesday that is 3 to 6. At the game nights, we have 2 pool tables. We have 2 Wii screens. Bowling is the most popular. We have a dinner night, and actually starting in July, we'll be cooking and having dinner groups, and everybody who comes and participates will be eating and participating, and it'll be for free. And that's been probably one of the most popular activities. There's something about planning a meal, making a meal, getting together with your friends, having fun, and just breaking bread and talking about your day and talking about your life afterward. That's been really meaningful and really very popular. We also have classes. We have an anti-bullying class that we did. Like I said, we're a work in progress, so we're going to have an LGBT support group because a lot of folks have been asking for that. We're going to have a men's support group and a women's support group. Clients really pushed for doing things on weekends, so once a month we have weekend excursions where we go. We just went to Angel Island and went hiking and did a picnic. This weekend we're going to do a lunch and a movie on a Saturday. So we'll meet here, and then we'll get together and we'll have lunch, and we'll all be part of the process of picking the movie and going to the movie. And a big part of Friends Like Me has been letting people enter in the way that's most comfortable for them. So as an example, I had one man who came, and he was extremely shy and mostly nonverbal. And for 2 months, he mostly wanted to sit at the table and just observe. And we allowed him to do that. And of course, we came over and hung out with him and talked. But he really just needed time to feel comfortable. And this is actually somebody who's been working full-time for over 10 years. And he got reconnected with community. And after a couple months, he got very excited one day and wanted to play the Wii bowling, and now he comes and everybody knows his name, everybody says hi. When he gets a strike, everybody's high-fiving him. So that's been great to see. And I think also seeing folks gain confidence that translates into their work life, and having the confidence and the self-esteem that grows out of having supportive relationships has helped them be successful at work. Friends Like Me has been going for almost 5 years, and I think one of the things that I have found the most beautiful is that I'm seeing a lot of mentors come out of the program. So now when we have people who come and they might be shy, they might be feeling awkward, our mentors, our other clients with autism and other disabilities, are great at understanding how they're feeling, going up to them. Last week, one client bought another client a beverage, which I thought was really sweet. This was somebody who's feeling very defensive, didn't want to be there. And now her mother reports to me that she wakes up Monday morning and she's very excited because that night she gets to go and see her friends. So just to sort of summarize, I know everybody knows this, but I think being with friends and family and playing and having fun and laughing is the best part of life, and all the other things that we do, our work life, our taking care of ourselves, it's all so that we can have these experiences with connecting and being with our peeps, with our people. And some ideas that we came up with to help other folks who want to connect and make more friends is to start with what interests you. So if you have an interest in sports, if you have an interest in science, there's somebody else out there who shares that interest. And looking for a peer who might want to go to a ball game with you, or who might want to go to the Academy of Science with you. Joining larger groups with similar interests. So there's Meetups, which is online. It's an online site where you can find different groups that are doing different things in your area. You might try out a hiking group. Of course, churches and synagogues and other faith-based groups are great places to start connecting. And I think starting small. Friends like me started small. We just started with a couple nights, and we've expanded to movie night, where we watch a movie and talk about it afterwards. And like I said, we're always a work in progress. You're going to fumble, you might make mistakes, but just to keep going. And volunteering in your community is always a great way to connect with people. We have folks who, through the ARC program, go to the SPCA and they walk dogs and they meet other dog people and they make friendships, and then they end up going out to coffee and talking about careers and pet care, and it all gets connected. And of course, you can come to Friends Like Me. I'd be happy to send you an activity schedule, and we have an application, and it's just for us to get information about what your interests are and make sure that we have all your emergency information. And please come up and join us. We have lots of fun. You can join us for our game nights, our movie night. We have a drama theater group as well, which is really fun. It's a class that we have 3 to 5 on Wednesdays, and then once a month we have our excursions. So if you'd like to join us, give me a call or you can email me. And that's it for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lance. And next up, we have Meg Fields from Aspen Network. And let me get you up.
Hi, good morning. I'm Meg Fields. And you can see my screen, right?
No, not yet.
Okay, my fault. Is that better?
Yes, thank you.
Good, thank you. Hi, I'm Meg Fields, and I am a co-director of Aspen Network. It's an organization that I don't really know how to explain that well. What I'm here to tell you guys about tonight, the thing that I'm the most excited about, is our co-ed group living program. So we have co-ed groups that live together in houses. We work with youth with all kinds of social differences. So I have, we have these slides, and we all have slides. So what the slides are about is that, okay, here's a few things that we do. But Aspen Network and the Living Pod, I don't really know how to explain it, but I'll try. So we have many people who are college capable who live with us. Some are college graduates. Some can't go to college even though they have the capacity to go to college because of fear, past difficulties, some medical, some psychiatric, and certainly people on the spectrum as well. It's really hard for people to launch and to get out. Some are very stuck and unlaunchable. Our program began as a camp 8 years ago in the Tahoe area that was extremely successful and very fun. And after about year 3, 6 of the people just refused to go home. So they literally moved into my house. After more people moved in, I moved out. My family moved into a second house that we had, and then when that house filled, we moved across town. So what we found was organically, people want to be together. And I love what everybody's presented. There's so much that needs to be done. It's really amazing. And this is just a small pilot project that we're trying to figure out. So organically, this thing came together where people were terribly interested in, I'm sorry, I just realized I didn't time myself. Not a good idea. Being together in a way that was successful. They need some support. But these folks that I'm working with, they really are very capable, but they didn't have an environment. So when you think about what works, most of our people, and I'm talking about college level people, people who either have a full vocation, a college degree, a couple college degrees, or are having a school learning difference that prohibits them from getting into that arena, but they have the capacity. These folks, some of them, lots of them came to me because their siblings attended camp and their siblings were more affected by autism, and they had been sort of in the background, and their parents sort of said, oh, well, the sibling would be good to join you for different reasons. So why we do it is because it needs to get done. I don't really know what to say about that. It's like I love all the ideas of everybody like having a group, right? But what worked for people often who come to me, they have their best friend is from when they were little, right? There are a few people that are connected to them from when they were little or when their families were together. And the reason that living pods is so important is because if you live with people, you really find out that they're kind of like you, and there's a lot of people like you. And if you have true peers, meaning that we've picked a collage of people who we work really hard at, who are actually similar in enough ways that they get along. And in the house, you actually have these 10 to 12 people voting on who would be next, and people move on and they change their lives and do different things. Pretty much we've had 25 people come through. 23 of them are still pretty connected to us, stay in touch, do things like that. The primary transformative experience seems to be that people find that like their families, other people love them. Like their early friends, other people love them if they get to know them. So what we found was that we need people. My dissertation on autism and high functioning people with autism was that they were lonely and underemployed. And I think the lonely part is our ticket that we're interested in. My mentor, Dr. Perry, who wrote a fabulous book, it's a useful resource on adults on the autism spectrum leave the nest. She describes that you need a true peer. Autism, of course, is not a common interest. Differences are a common interest, I've found. So we blend diagnosis. We have people with social anxieties, mood differences, OCD, and the neurodiverse group as well. The residential living pod works because you're actually living with people and learning roommateness, communication. We work hard on groups. We have a social group on Thursday night that outsiders who don't live with us can come to. We have a summer retreat in July that's really, really, really special. It's a small little thing that we do now. The pods are all that we have the bandwidth to do. But we're really teaching in our social skills in the pod at camp about what is communication, what's attention, what's focus, what's interest. So what I think is transformative and terribly important is that the youth experience successful, supervised living. Now, supervised is a big word. There's not staff 24 hours at this place. Everybody who comes is capable pretty much of living independently with support. And that's, I guess, my take-home message is that we need a to provide a space for the possibility for people to start seeing themselves differently. So if you've had, helicopter parents or all the things that are needed, literally, not to at all criticize any parents, what's needed to get somebody through this world if they have differences is a ton of help. And so somebody needs to have executive function if that's not working. And our blended diagnosis make that really, really helpful, because some people do have executive function, they just have anxiety. And some people don't have anxiety, they just can't organize something. So when we blend people together, they find that they have the experiences of living with others and screwing up and who doesn't do the dishes and how does it not work, and then they work it out. And we have community meetings where we just watch them work it out. That's the goal, right? So my overall goal is not to change people. People who have executive function differences will always probably have executive function differences. They may learn to accommodate them effectively, but to just teach social skills doesn't get it done for me, because they always need somebody to initiate the social skills thing happening. They always need, so when they live together, that's my dream. So our dream is that people have authentic, acceptable social ramps where they can move into society, but mostly with a group of their own, mostly with peers of their own. So, when you think about what the advice or offerings or suggestions might be, I think we need to start thinking about, are they going to live with us? Are they going to live in our homes? Are they going to just get a little bit out of the door? I mean, these are people, lots of people who don't have spectrum differences as well, that are so unlaunchable. There's a huge, huge tribe of people who are stuck at home. And if we could figure out how to combine them better, find them each places to be together, it makes just a world of difference to see people live together for a year and a half, 2 years, and actually come away with knowing that they were accepted, that people liked them how they were, that they were a part of, they were truly a part of, and it wasn't their family. Yes, there was somebody with executive function directing. Yes, there was somebody around helping guide and encourage. And I have a huge team of talented people. They're all retired and they all have 30 years of brilliance. It's an amazing team. But what works is that the kids do it for each other, and they're not kids. We have people up to age 30 at this point, 18 to 30. So we have lots of people. Thank you for the time to talk with you all about it. I'm sorry it's not clearer. It's just not very clear yet. But I think that people need to live together, really building worlds where they're living together. And that's it for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Meg. Next up, we have Trang Nguyen from Cape Path. And let me transfer the screen over to you. Let me know if you have.
Got it.
There we go. Perfect.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay. Is this webinar thing in the way? I'll just hide it down here. Okay, so Cape Path Social Connections is our after-school and weekend group activities for individuals on the autism spectrum, as well as ADHD, other attention and learning differences. A lot of times these disabilities are comorbid, and so we want to be inclusive of other challenges that people have, but they're still looking for social opportunities. So our current classes, our current offerings are home classes, and these are on weekends, Friday evenings, and Saturdays. For adults, we do have a class in Daly City at our center, our Learning and Resource Center, for ages 18 and up. And we separate groups depending on age or developmental level, because connection is a lot more fluid when their peers or have the same age or the same interest with their age. In the film classes, they're learning all about filmmaking, from directing, scripting, acting, camera work, and even editing. So they go through the whole process of making films, and our tagline really is making films and making friends, because they are learning to collaborate with each other and work together to make a film project. Our after-school classes focus on more recreational activities, activities that people on the spectrum and other learning differences may not have in their own opportunities in their own community because of their challenges. Yoga or cooking classes, these are all social opportunities for them to also learn life skills. Yoga encourages mental and emotional well-being. They do have group or dyad activities where they're connecting with each other without having to say anything to each other, but it's the tactile connection, it's the eye contact that they're connecting with. With cooking, they're learning about food prep, nutrition, how to correctly cut something up. This promotes independence, and if they're moving on to a group residential home or they're living on their own, this is something that would help launch their independence. And it's also social engagement to eat the food, eating together, once they're done cooking it, it's a great accomplishment. And also learning to prioritize, and that's very important in cooking. We also have other classes that we are launching. Art therapy is building confidence and self-efficacy, using art as a means to express themselves. All of our classes are in group settings, so really it is just about getting out and doing something with other individuals. Zumba is another offering where it is just getting them out and providing more physical exercise. It's inclusive, it's in a safe environment, there's no judging. If you're going to the gym, even neurotypicals would have this self-consciousness about their body or their skill level, but all of our classes are provided in a safe environment where we do facilitate, the bullying that isn't accepted, or the way that one should conduct themselves respectfully and accept others as they are. Music is another one that we would like to offer to sort of work together. Like if there's a band, everyone has a role, everyone is working together. It is just another means to get people together, to focus on a common goal, and to collaborate and have fun. Our hangouts are social gatherings. They're usually themed once a month for adults and also teens. So there's two different groups, and it's really just a place for individuals on the spectrum and other differences to come together, very low-key, unstructured, for them to just have pizza, eat snacks, watch movies, play video games. The adults group meets on the first Friday of each month. The teens and young adults, it goes up to age 22. So if there are adults 18 and over, that is the group that would fit them best. Our adult transitioning programs give more support to students who are looking for a different experience. The college experience is, something that we can all remember. If, we've gone to college, it's a very lively atmosphere. So College Pass supports these individuals who want this experience to go and be on campus and take college courses. Career Path is another community-based program we have where the social and vocational readiness training is emphasized, where individuals learn and work with a job developer for maybe a job that they would be interested in doing. The workplace offers a social environment. I think that we all, when we go to work, we do have friends and peers at work, and it is, a very nice opportunity for individuals to have that experience to connect with other people in the workplace as well. We have social opportunities in our adult services. So individuals who are placed into our either day program or our community program can do volunteer work. There's community outings where they're going bowling, the movies, they go to the museum. We offer quarterly dance parties where it's purely just social, having some food, listening to music and getting down and just having fun with each other. And then also, advocacy is very important for individuals with special needs, and it's encouraging, their knowing their rights and them taking a stand and being cohesive about their own needs when it comes to legislation. And that is all I have for my slides. One advice that I would give to adults on the spectrum would be really just to simply find one thing. The first step is usually the hardest, but it's the most important, is to find something and get out. Just take the first step, and other opportunities will come about that. Connecting with other peers is the hard part after that, but a lot of these social opportunities that we've heard already, including my own, is that they're facilitated and that they're safe and welcoming environments. So just to take that first step, make that first call, or do that first RSVP, and simply show up, and then other pieces will fall into place. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Trang. Next up, we have Jan Johnston-Tyler from Evo Libri.
Good morning.
Good morning. And I am handing the screen over to you.
There we go. Let me put this into Prezo mode. Just 1 second. There we go. And can you see it?
We can see your control panel.
That's very interesting.
Above the slides.
Hang on. That was very interesting. Let me try again. Can you see it now?
It's your GoToWebinar box that's showing up on the upper left of the screen. Can you either move that over? Yeah, there you go.
Let me try to close this because, well, if I close it, then you go away. I don't want that to happen. Let me just...
You're good now.
Yeah.
Just hit play for your slideshow. Yep.
All right. How's that? Does
Perfect.
that work? Okay, good. Sorry about that, everyone. So I'm Jan Johnston Tyler. I'm the founder and CEO of Evo Libre Consulting down here in the South Bay. We are a small agency that work with less impacted individuals. We term our clients neurodiverse, so we work with folks with ASD, with ADHD, with anxiety and mood disorders, mild learning disabilities, and et cetera, and so forth. And one thing all of these people tend to have in common is they want more of a social life. So we're a little bit more cerebral perhaps, and we like to think about this is in terms of a longitudinal issue. So we know that throughout life, there are distinct junctures where people find themselves between social groups. This might happen, for example, when a student changes schools. Either they're starting school for the first time, they're moving, they may have a new middle school or high school they're attending, and at college. So all of these times during a life, people find themselves without their typical set of peeps. We also know that when you start a new job, which may include a new location, change in schedule, that you also find yourself maybe without your typical group of friends available. And certainly during stages in your life, marriage, children, divorce, and retirement, your group of friends tends to change. Additionally, existing friends may kind of drift in and out of your circle because of these same things. Maybe one of your best friends took a job and moved out of the area, and because you're also going through these same changes. So we like to help normalize to all of our clients that nothing is forever, even sometimes friendships, and that we constantly need to be in a mode of collecting new friends on this lifelong journey. So the basics, and this is how we work with our individual clients who are looking to expand their social horizons. We explain to them that you have to be in the same location repeated times to meet new people. So the ways that we typically do this might be attending classes, going to groups like all the groups we've heard about here, volunteering, going to a club or gym, any place where people with similar interests gather, right? And before you do that, you also need to know what are your interests. And if you don't have interests, maybe you need to cultivate some, like hobbies, avocations, pet projects, favorite movies, those type of things. So we help our clients create a list of things that they're interested in. Then we help them find other people, and you've heard this before, you know, maybe you can look at Meetup, maybe you can look at classes, attend conventions. Even Facebook has some great ways to link up. And of course, if you're interested in volunteering, getting out to meet other people who are interested in the environment, go to volunteermatch.org. And then it's really simple, right? You just join and go. Except it's not that simple for most of our clients. So they may have a difficult time even once identifying places that they want to go to actually do it. And so we also want to help normalize this to people that most of us, even extroverts, don't really like going the first time or trying something new. It interrupts our homeostasis. So we're here to help. So again, we were founded in 2007. We've been doing this for 10 years now, and I have kind of helped to develop some programs here at Evo Libre based on what the response has been from the community, listening to what other people said they wanted and needed, and certainly watching my own son, who is now 24, who has Asperger's. So we see social connections, again, as a lifelong process. It requires different skill sets. Certainly social skills, the ability to interact with other people, and social skills doesn't mean you have to be fabulous at social skills as the society may see it, but that you have some ability to interact with others, even if it's using a tablet. A variety of interests and skills to share. An understanding and a desire for communitas, the sense of belonging, the want to belong to others. That's really important. And some flexibility to meet other people where they are. Sometimes we have people who are less thrilled to work with clients or other clients who have differences that are different than their own. And so we have to teach people that acceptance is a good thing. And this is taking, there we go. So we help with social planning and social coaching. We work with our clients to develop a social plan, where they want to go, what they want to do. We help them either with on-the-scene coaching or by coaching them before or after the event. We work with adults on social coaching also for the workplace and for family and relationships, or for general socializing in the community. We hold clubs every Friday night. We call them EVO clubs, and you've heard very similar offerings that are available as well. We have two clubs we run. One is teens, our teen club, which is for 12 to 16, and our young adult group, which is 17 to 24. And we always say ish because it really depends on the comfort level of the person who's attending. So if we have a really mature 15-year-old, we might invite them to the young adult group, and conversely, if we have somebody who's more comfortable with younger kids, we might have them go to the teen group. We meet on alternate Fridays for pizza, gaming, movies, and what we like to call mild mayhem. Sometimes I come in on Monday morning and I find all of the beanbag chairs in a corner, and I wonder what they've been up to. And then we've just recently started also offering peer social skills. We've been wanting to do this for quite some time. I've had the curricula for some time. We really like this curriculum. We think it's one of the best available. We're running two groups right now, one for teens and another for young adults. Those also feed into our EVO clubs. We're going to be offering it again in the fall of 2017, and as mentioned before, it's a 14-week program and it has a parent training component. I'm leading the parent training component, and we've blended it temporarily with our Parenting Beyond 18 parent group. We also believe that people need better skills for working in the workplace. We were tapped by Department of Rehab quite some time ago to develop curriculum and work with individuals on the spectrum. And so we've recently published our book, or our curriculum. We've been developing this for about 4 years now. We have clients throughout all 13 counties who have participated in this program, and it runs continually every Friday here in Santa Clara. And if we have enough people, we also have run it in the past in Berkeley through the DOR office there. The topics are ones that typically are challenging for folks on the spectrum, including personal boundaries, giving and receiving criticism, self-advocacy, listening skills, and much more. By the way, this is currently available for school districts to purchase, and we'd love to see this program trickle down into the high schools. We also have two other classes that we're offering right now. They're not strictly speaking social classes, but they do support the person to build a social life. The first is our Life Launch class. This is the 8th year we've offered it, and it teaches activities of daily living, also known as independent living skills, and a very broad set of skills and a social community to learn those skills in. This is for 16 to 24-year-olds, 2-week class, and we're starting on June 19th, so registration's happening now. We also run a class called Springboard. This happens right before the start of the school year, and this is an executive functioning skills class to help kids with well-rounded skill sets so that they can actually participate more in their school and their classrooms. This is for 12 to 15-year-olds, and again, we offer 2 sessions right before the school year starts. We're here, all stages, all ages. From ages 12 and up, we're here to help our neurodiverse clients pretty much in all aspects of their living. And we've had a lot of clients who've started with us many years ago. They've gone off and then come back later with another set of challenges that they need to work on. So we like to think of ourselves as sort of that longitudinal support, which also you've heard other people say, you know, this is a lifetime challenge oftentimes, and people need to have ongoing services, maybe not every single day or every week or every month, but an organization they know they can go back to and get some help, even if it's a referral somewhere else. For our upcoming classes, they're available on this link here. Our events are on our calendar on our website, and we offer a 30-minute consult intake for all new clients here in our office or on the phone. And that's all I have. Thank you so much for having us join today.
Thank you very much, Jan. Next up, we have Liz Sandoval-Kane from Shire House.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you see me? Or my screen?
Did you get, let me try to get, there you go.
Okay.
We don't see slides yet. We see your desktop.
Oh. Well, I had a video, but the sound is not working, so I'm going to narrate it in a couple minutes here. But as some of you know, Shire House is an actual residential program where young adults, after they graduate from high school, come and live with us while they are either attending college or wanting to be employed. And because a lot of our clients have behavioral, emotional, and social delays, we address them, and the way we address, one of the ways we address the social delays is by having a social opportunity. So ever since we started Shire House in January of 2013 was when we had our first client move in, we've started the Friday night social, and we started with 2 people, my son and another young man who found us through Meetup. And we broke our record a couple of weeks ago with 33 young adults here. It was quite loud. So every Friday night, every Friday of the year, it doesn't matter if it's a holiday, we open our doors to other young adults. And this gives our clients that live here that social opportunity. Some of them start out with 10 minutes at a time and work up to being able to be present the whole 3 hours. So it's been wonderful to see them being able to do that and come out of their comfort zone, out of their shell, and be able to make friends. Most of our clients come in without any friends, and so it's you know, very rewarding to see them you know, make those connections and make those friends and then build that community. So I'm going to go ahead and play the video just because it adds a little bit more flavor to the conversation. I hope I do this correctly. Can you still hear me? Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
So this is, sorry, let me. So it's, we have 2 living rooms, an upstairs and a downstairs. So each one has their different activities that they are doing, from video games to table games. We always have food. Here I am talking about the importance of the social opportunity for our young adults. Our population is the high functioning on the spectrum, but on Friday nights we don't differ. We don't say you can't come because you're at this particular level of the spectrum. So we have different levels of the spectrum at attending our Friday socials. And we have social mentors that facilitate the event, and also a couple of support staff which came from the guests. As we see them, there's different skills they might have, maybe some leadership skills or organizational skills. We help them, or we have them help us out, and we've hired 2 of those young adults to help us out on Friday night. And we try and some of the social issues that we've dealt with is, you know, over talking or interrupting or inappropriate language. Of course, we're very private and kind about it. And this is one of our social mentors, Francis. And that's pretty much what I have to share about our Friday night. I did want to bring up a slide that kind of points out the different, you know, things related to Friday night. For example, it's every Friday of the year. It's from 6 to 9 o'clock. We're not very strict about asking you to leave, so we've had guests stay here till midnight. That's when we do draw the line. And in a kind way, we ask that, you know, we'll be glad to see them the next week. And it's at no cost. You don't need to RSVP. We ask that parents not stay. It is 18 and older, and it is staffed by social mentors and volunteers. And this is our contact info if you have any questions regarding that. And then, let's see, we always have food, and we do, the video does work on a YouTube. I did try it earlier, and this is also a good time with an appointment to come to our Shire House or to meet with me if you need to speak to me about your young adult. And then to learn more about who we are and what we do, you can visit us at our website at shirehouse.org. Thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Liz. And last up but not least is Trudy Grable with the BFF project. And Trudy, are you there?
Forgot to turn my mute off. I was trying to be quiet while everybody else was presenting. All right, so I've used up 30 seconds of my time, so I better talk fast. I am also with Parents Helping Parents and help co-moderate these webinars, but this time I'm just here to talk about the BFF project, which was just an epiphany I had at an event about person-centered planning. And I thought, how can we use person-centered planning in helping people to create friendships? And I started making some notes, and now here we are today, 2 years later. What we know about social connections is that people have better physical health, they have better mental health, they're less vulnerable, and they have increased access because they're meeting other people who have families, so they have additional resources and are going to be able to help support them in life. The program is person-centered. That is the most important thing that I can share with you. It is multi-topic, participant-driven. There's no fee to attend, and it costs very little to run, and it can be done anywhere. It could be done at a Starbucks or one of the large rooms at a restaurant, or if you have a big living room, or you could set it up in your garage. I encourage you to take these ideas and duplicate it for your own son or daughter. We do serve those who are 18 and over and that are showing a readiness to seek friends, who say, I'm lonely, I don't know how to make friends, I want a girlfriend, I want a boyfriend. It is all-inclusive. It is not disability-specific. And again, they must show readiness. and there is no fee to attend, but we do request that they register online in advance. My belief, my strong belief, is that friends and our community offer the best social security in their lives. What we ask people to do first is watch our online orientation, and then there's documents that are you're going to prepare ahead of coming. You'll bring your son and daughter or daughter to the events. Some people come as a group. Some people drive themselves. Fourth, you get a chance, if you're staying, to observe them socializing. And the most important piece of this, being person-centered, is where they share a common interest. After the event, we encourage people to share the information about how to contact you, how to email you or find you on Facebook, and we provide a booklet with information about how to plan a date. And that doesn't mean gender specific. So the first thing we have people do is, pardon me, work on their one-page social profile. And included in the social profile, you see my beautiful daughter, and you see one of the things that are important to her. That is a doll collection. So we're going to look at what people think is the most important things about those that help them be happy, fulfilled, content, satisfied. And we're also looking at what other people like and admire about the person. And then we list their favorite activities, and it might look something like this. So they've got their photo, people who know me say about me, she's friendly, happy, thoughtful, fun, and generous. And then on the left, we've got what's important to her and activities that that person may enjoy. Because it's topic-driven, there are multiple opportunities for them to shift topics. So we want to make sure that people know other things that those folks are interested. Here's another one where you might use visuals. We have color-coded bracelets that indicate activity lights. They receive a social notebook, a place for their networking cards, a place for their social profile, and we encourage them to bring anything that's a favorite that they'd like to share with others. These are the things that you'll find inside the social notebook. So we recap, bring the social profile, contact cards, a way for people to contact the individual or yourself. Bring the person, and anything that the person wants to bring along and can carry themselves. Now I'm going to show you a quick video as well, and I will narrate as well, but it does have, when the individuals are talking about the BFF project, it does have, I'm going to forgive me, I am going to mute my video if it'll let me. Otherwise, I'm going to go back to talking. Was that able to be seen by everyone?
Yes, we could see it when you had
Great.
it up.
And I know that you couldn't hear it, and I knew that you couldn't hear me as we were talking. So I just want to go back to a couple of key points. We collect information from each participant that is planning to come. We find out what their interests are. We also find out if they're conserved or need to be having additional monitoring. If that is the case, and I know you see my blue chair again, I'm just going to go to the website so you can see what it looks like on the main website. Here's our main website. The same video that you will see, this couple actually met at the BFF project in February of last year. They are still together. They ride over to the BFF project every first Thursday of the month. And we meet from 7 to 8:30. If you want to join us, you would go to the participation and the schedule and registration link. And this is where we're going to collect the information about your person, and this is where they're going to be able to tell us what's of interest to them. So we're sure to include that in the offerings. We have table topics that we are able to put out that people can come in and they can select the topic that they want to talk about, and then they can ask who else would like to join me. And the tables are set with activities. If they're doing art, it's set with games, if board games are their interests, and all the items are encouraging people to talk to one another. We do have folks who need some facilitation, so we have volunteers who come in, sit at the tables, and are able to support the people in sharing what it is they'd like to offer. And for me, I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Trudy. I do have some questions. The first one is for Katie Ankerman of the Star Center at UCSF. She is having trouble with her audio.
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Are you back? Yes, I can.
I fixed it.
Okay.
I fixed it.
Great. Well, let me read the question out for everybody, and then you can answer it. So the audience question was, what are eligibility criteria for your groups? And do you use a tool to determine that eligibility? And do you have centers in the South Bay?
So yeah, that's a great question. So first off, eligibility, since we're an outpatient clinic, we first have to do an assessment to establish a diagnosis for billing. So whether that's autism or ADHD or whatever. Then after that, we do a session with an interview-based session. We also have questionnaires as well, where we meet the individual, and really the goal is to determine if the groups are going to be a good fit for that individual based on his or her unique needs and interests. So, you know, the tools are really in-person interview and questionnaires. We do not have a center in the South Bay. We are in San Francisco currently, so in the Parnassus campus of UCSF, if you know where that is.
Great, thank you. The next question is for Meg Fields at Aspen. The question is, do the people living in the pods date each other?
Hopefully. we're all about relationships, whatever works. It has certainly been, out of 25 people coming through, I'd say there have been a few romances. And we definitely think very actively about it at all times in terms of if there was any sexual activity. We're very thoughtful, and everybody is involved, meaning people who need to be aware of birth control, et cetera, et cetera. But mostly that's our goal. Our goal is to have too much relationship. So yes, they date each other.
Excellent. The next question is for Trang. How much do your services cost, and how do you apply?
Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Our services, it really depends on what class you are interested in. Our hangout is the least commitment based. It's, you know, simply month after month, and it's $20, and you just want to come and just be there for that month. Our other recreational classes range from $120 for a month. That's 4 weeks of classes each week, to $295 for the film class, and that's also monthly. All of our classes are month to month, so you're really only committing to the month. Of course, we want continued participation, so because the longer or the more frequent you come to these social opportunities, the more likely you are to have a social connection and to build a relationship. We do have a sliding scale for our film class, and that's based on household income. Very easy. The more you make, the more you pay. You pay as little as $59 for the film class each month, up to the base of $295. And we just verify household income. If there are any individual questions, you can also contact me via email or my phone number, and I think that we can send that out later.
Great, thank you very much. I have a question for Jan at Evo Libri. What programs do you have for adults over the age of 24, and what is the ratio of men to women?
That's always a burning question, is what the ratio is. Right now, we don't have anything for adults over 25, and it's not because we don't want to, it's because they've been extremely difficult to keep up and running. But if there is a group of adults who wants to meet and can help us find other people, we would be thrilled to death to offer an adult support group or social group.
Thank you. I do have a question for Liz. Also, same question. What is the ratio of men to women at Shire House?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. So we are co-ed. We can have 10 clients living with us, and right now we have 6 young men and 2 young ladies. And on our socials, we do have some guests that are in their young 30s. Does that make sense? 30?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So I have a general question here, and it's that many of the resources appear to focus on young adults and teens. Which ones also serve adults that are over 30? And I think I'll hand that over to the panel.
This is Trudy, and we offer this to all ages. We have people who literally have come on their 18th birthday, and we have somebody in their high 40s coming. And so there's a variety of different needs that are presented and many different age groups. So the requirement is that you have to be over 18 for the BFF project.
Right. This is Greg from Ascend, and we have people of all ages, even up into their 70s. And everyone, you are invited to an Ascend meeting. There's no charge for any of our meetings.
This is Lance Scott. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. This is Katie at STAR. For our young adult peers group, that goes up to 35. And then, as I mentioned, for our women's group, for young women or younger women with ASD, right now that goes up to 39. And depending on interest, and if we get more older women interested, then we would have another group probably for 40 and up. But right now the interest has been up to about 38, 39 at this point.
This is Lance Scott, and like Ascend, we're all age groups, so we're 18 to 108.
Great, thank you. So for Evo Libri, is there an upper age limit? And what is the cost to the participant? How long is the program, and how often? is it offered? So this is for Jan.
So, okay, so the upper age limit is also 108. If you're 109, I'm sorry, we can't help. No, but for individual, for therapy, for coaching, for job development, for all of those particular offerings, there is no upper age limit, and the funding depends on the service. So we are also a Department of Rehab vendor, so our workplace adaptability can be paid by DOR. We also do all of our job development through DOR, although we do accept private pay. The rest of our offerings in terms of classes and clubs, like the Star Center, really, or other centers, it depends on what the offering is. Our clubs are $35 per event, and people simply RSVP on the website or on our calendar. The rest of our classes are typically, the cost is $35 to $50 an instructional hour, is basically the rubric that we use. Some of them can be reimbursed by insurance. It just depends on your policy.
Thank you very much. I think I just have another question. So I've been asked to have Meg expand on why she feels people with developmental disabilities need to live together. What's the argument that will convince the Center for Medicaid Services?
Well, that's a bigger question than I would know how to convince policymakers. But clearly, you know, I have a partner. I want a partner. I want to be with somebody. It doesn't have to be a partner, but I don't want to be. I just think that Jan. I love you, Jan. I always use you as one of my references, but this is actually a Nancy Perry. Dr. Perry says to have adulthood, you have to have true peers and not be with your parents. Now, of course, it's fine to be with your parents, and there are many cultures where that works, but it is, I think, if you're taking it at policy level, it's pretty much clear that most people want to be able to live without their parents. And we're social beings. We don't want to live alone. So I think the pod idea is just, I just think community living is basically how most of us live. We just don't call it that. And so if you have social differences and you don't make friends easily, and social is your problem, somebody needs to help us create. It's a little bit artificial as it begins to create the environment where people live together, but it doesn't stay artificial. It quickly deepens into what they've been used to, how they treat their own family, how they treat their own friends that they knew a long, long time, how they treat family friends. It's like we are connected, and they do connect. They just don't have the opportunity in an hour and a half and then come back the next week. Those are wonderful opportunities. I don't think they create the essential change that happens internally if people live together over time. The ex-clients that have moved through feel different about themselves being able to live with other people than they did before they got to us.
Thank you for that. So I think it looks like we are out of time. We don't have additional questions. I want to thank everyone, all of our presenters, for their wonderful presentations. And this webinar was recorded, so it will be archived on the Autism Society website, I think in the next couple days or so. So if you need to go back and get some information from the slides, please feel free to do that. And thank you everyone for joining us today. And we have another webinar coming up next week. So take a look at what that one's about and join us if you're able. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well done.
Thank you.